let's unpack how you grew up, because you grew up in a two-parent household. What
Yes.
was that like growing up in a two-parent household, seeing your mom and your dad married, and also you are the second youngest. So just speak a little bit about growing up in a two-parent household, because I'm pretty sure that had a impact on your adulthood in choosing marriage.
Absolutely. Seeing my parents love the way they did, work together as a mother and father. The American dream household is what I had. My siblings, we all knew how to act. We was raised in church. Our parents loved us. I didn't see nothing but love from my parents, and who wouldn't want that for their children? So, I was just, going for what I knew, and that's what I knew. When I got married to my children's father, the goal was marriage forever. When I started having kids in high school, I didn't have kids in high school because I just wanted to be somebody's baby mama. I wanted to be a wife, and I wanted to have 50 years of marriage. I wanted to have a foundation for my children. I had a plan. I had a plan. And the plan
Absolutely.
was, of course, having parents as my role model.
Okay. So your first marriage, let's go line by line with the marriages again, leaving names out, but just to kind of unpack the story. Your first marriage was your kids was my dad, was your kid's father. Can you speak a little bit about that?
High school lovers, whatever you want to call it, high school love, young love. My kid's father, that's it. We were young. We decided to get married at a young age. He asked me to marry him. He wanted to be with me the rest of his life. He wanted 10 kids, the white picket fence, all of that. I fell for the hoo-ha. I thought I was in love. It felt like love at the time. Of course, I'm having all his kids and marrying him in high school and going through everything a mother, a student, a wife would go through at such a young age with a man. Of course, I thought it was going to last forever. And again, I don't want to talk about him, but I'm just going to talk about my part of it. My part of it is, it was an amazing ride, and I'm just glad I'm here today to tell my stories. It was an amazing ride. It was a childhood love story. That's what we have, and we have beautiful children from that love story. And I will say, if some, because someone in the audience might say, well, what happened? Well, what happened was life happened. You get older, life changed, people change, situations change, circumstances change, and we decided that we wasn't fit for each other. So he went his way and I went mine. But what I think really happened to him and I was we lost a baby at the age of 2 years old together. His healing was different than my healing. And my healing was I don't need to be dealing with nothing. I just need to heal because I just lost my baby. His healing was aggravation, drama, toxic. And I just was like, you know what? This ain't it. I got 2 other kids that's depending on me. I'm not going to be that mother. So, life happens and we separated, but thank God we have beautiful children to cover for the story that never ended with the white picket fence. But I can say it ended with my beautiful children. So I did get the best end of the stick.
Okay. So high school lovers, and then, the tragedy of your daughter and my sister, my older sister, is what caused the divorce. Now, going into your second marriage, again, we're not naming names, but we are here to unpack the story of 5 husbands, so that also I'm pretty sure that there was some lessons learned and there's some things that you can share with having 5 husbands, right? That's what we're trying to get to in this story. So going into the second marriage, what was it that allowed you to try love again?
Love is just something that I love. And The second husband, he was nurturing. He was older. You know, he was an older man. I love older men. After my first husband, I said I'd never marry a young man that close to my age ever again, because I just, after having kids and, you know, my maturity was skyrocket. So I didn't need a boy, you know. So this one was retired military, you know, just I dated him for 3 years. Met him in
And what
South
age were
Carolina.
you? What age? What
I
age?
think I was like 20, 24 or something like that. Between 24 and 25.
And this was an older guy, right? About 10
Yes,
years older than you. Okay.
yes. And he was like the American dream again. You know, like I said, I love love.
Right.
Everything was going in the right direction. I met him in South Carolina. It was just great. My children were still young. And he was the one that I actually had a wedding. Like, he was the only husband that I actually walked down the aisle with. Meaning so, because I really thought that it was going to be, you know, that was going to be it, because he was the older guy.
Right.
But he had some demons. He had some demons that he dealt with, and I didn't know that till after we got married. So immediately I ended the marriage because I don't deal with demons. So one might say, "Wow, she don't play no games." I don't, because I was raising daughters again. So I needed to not paint a bad picture. Like, even though I was at that time, okay, I'm 1, 2 husbands down, but I still was setting a standard for women. Like, don't settle for less. Don't just, you know, be with somebody because you want to say you're married. You know, don't be with nobody for the wrong reasons. If love is not in it and pureness is not in it, get out of it. You know, it's your life. You have show in your life. So that marriage ended abruptly, because, like I said, he was dealing with some demons, and I realized he was dealing with some demons, and it became abusive on my end. And, you know, no man will be abusive towards me ever, because if I don't do that to you, I don't need that energy reciprocated to me. So it ended immediately.
Okay.
And I don't regret it. I don't regret anything about that relationship, anything, because I put myself in that situation and I was grown woman enough to get myself out. And from that, I would tell any woman, you know, try love. But if you see that it's not fitting, also, you know, do what's best for you, because it's your life and you need to be okay with it.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you want to tell people about, you know, your experiences with being married 5 times and how you overcame the noise? Because I know that's not easy to put out. That storyline is not easy to put
No,
out. You know,
it's
people
not. It's
their
not.
own opinion and things of
Mhm.
that sort. So, what do you say to people who are in a similar situation like you, who have had 5 husbands or 5 wives? What do you tell them in regards to trying
Yeah.
love or just not listening to what other people are saying and still living in your truth and being okay with trying love? Like, what message do you want to bring to people with this topic on tonight?
I want people to love themselves before they love someone else. I want people to understand that I would not have had 5 husbands if I had just loved myself. See, when you're dealing with hurt, and my father died when I was 25, right? So that, I feel, too, led me to that second marriage, you know, the older guy, the father figure, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of like daddy's girl, you know, you want that love that you're missing from somebody, that
Right.
part. And I just feel like people should love themselves before you get into a relationship. Try to fill your gap of not being whole and making yourself whole before you go into a relationship. And make it very important that your spouse is whole himself or herself, because two whole people can win. But when you're dealing with all of these things and you're trying to be with somebody because you need them versus want them. See, my husband's needed me. They didn't want me. And I say that after 5 husbands later, because if they wanted me, we probably one of them would have last. And when I say needed, is because I was always a boss. I was always a go-getter. I was always a woman that, took care of my business, and I tried to help them too. I tried to see the good in them that they didn't even see in themselves. And you give too much. And see, when you give too much, you don't get nothing in return because people just want you to give. Once you start giving and then you marry them and then you be like, well, I'm not giving no more. They looking at you like, well, what happened? You was giving it to me before you. So
Right.
I feel like be whole with yourself, love yourself, have your bag together, your money bag together, so that you can make a choice. Like today, the choice that I'm making today is because I'm a whole woman. I got my money bag together. I got my mental together. I know who I am. So today I don't choose that route because I don't need that route. And when I look
When you
back,
say that route, what route are you referring to?
the route of thinking I need love in all the wrong places. And love in all the wrong places, just trying to find that American dream household, trying to give my daughters, that American dream household with two parents. See, when I thought marrying somebody was his income and mine, and then we put it together and boom, we could get the big house.
Right.
Boom, I could get that car I want because I got a husband now. You know what I'm saying? Or he could get his car because he got him a powerful wife now, But it was always one-sided. I was giving and they gave me nothing but toxic or what they needed. You feel what I'm saying?
As you stated, they were in a relationship for what things they can get, for the things that they can get from you. How can the things that they can elevate
Yeah.
through you.
Right.
And you're saying now that, to anyone listening, you need to pay attention to those signs, and you also need to, have patience when it comes to love. Don't force anything trying to find your dad, or find your dad and a husband, or your mom and a wife.
Right. Because
yourself.
Hurt and pain drives you into relationships, believe it or not. It does. And and it's not just loss from my dad, feeling unloved from family members at the time, I had rocky roads, just because I had the American dream mom and dad, I still had some situations that was rocky road up in there. And a lot of times I wanted to get away, and, having a husband was sometimes like a getaway. You know what I mean? Like, so it was just like, there's a lot of reasons a woman gets in a relationship, and not all those reasons are love, because I haven't mentioned love yet, had I?